She was so poor that she could barely feed herself, yet when she saw a helpless old woman collapsing by the stream, she gave away her last piece of food. The villagers laughed and called her foolish. But years later, when a shocking secret about that old woman was revealed, the same poor girl became the richest and most successful woman in the kingdom. What happened next left the entire village speechless. In the peaceful village of Ajanla lived a young woman named Adunni. She was known for her kindness, but poverty followed her like a shadow. Her small mud house leaked whenever it rained, and most days she survived on a single meal. Despite her hardships, she never complained and always greeted everyone with a smile. The villagers admired her gentle spirit but often mocked her poor condition. While others chased wealth and comfort, Adunni spent her days helping elderly neighbors, carrying firewood, and fetching water from the distant stream. She believed that kindness was worth more than gold, even when she had nothing. One hot morning, Adunni woke before sunrise to fetch water. Her clay pot had cracked, and she carefully tied it together with rope so it could hold water for one more day. She hoped to save enough money to buy a new one someday. As she walked toward the stream, she noticed dark clouds gathering overhead. The narrow path was slippery, and many villagers avoided traveling that morning. Yet Adunni continued her journey, unaware that her life was about to change forever. When Adunni reached the stream, she saw an elderly woman struggling near the water's edge. The woman carried a heavy basket and appeared too weak to stand. Her clothes were worn, and her gray hair hung untidily over her shoulders. Several villagers passed by without helping. Some feared the woman looked suspicious, while others simply did not care. Adunni immediately rushed to assist her, offering her hand and helping her sit beneath a large tree. The old woman looked exhausted and hungry. Adunni searched her bag and found the only food she had, a small piece of roasted yam meant for her own lunch. Without hesitation, she handed it to the stranger. The old woman accepted the meal with trembling hands and tears in her eyes. Few people had shown her kindness in many years. As she ate, she watched Adunni carefully, as if studying her heart. After resting, the old woman thanked Adunni and asked for help carrying her basket home. The basket was surprisingly heavy, but Adunni agreed without complaint. Together they walked through winding forest paths. During the journey, the old woman asked many questions about Adunni's life. She listened quietly as Adunni described her poverty, her dreams, and her determination to remain kind despite her struggles. Deep inside the forest stood a small hut surrounded by flowering plants. Adunni had never seen it before. The old woman invited her inside and offered her a seat beside a warm fire. The hut looked simple from outside but strangely beautiful within. Colorful fabrics decorated the walls, and rare carvings filled the room. Adunni sensed there was something mysterious about the woman. The old woman opened a wooden box filled with silver coins and offered some to Adunni as payment. To her surprise, Adunni politely refused. She explained that she helped because it was the right thing to do, not because she expected a reward. The old woman's eyes widened with admiration. Most people she had encountered demanded payment for every favor. Adunni's honesty touched her deeply. Before Adunni left, the old woman handed her a small calabash and instructed her never to throw it away. Though it appeared ordinary, the woman insisted it would be important someday. Adunni accepted the gift respectfully. She thanked the woman and returned home, unaware that the old woman was far more than she seemed. Weeks passed, but Adunni's situation remained difficult. Her crops failed after an unexpected drought struck the village. Food became scarce, and many families struggled to survive. Despite her own hunger, Adunni continued helping those around her. She shared what little she had with children and elderly villagers, earning their respect but not improving her own condition. Many villagers laughed at Adunni's generosity. They argued that kindness could not fill an empty stomach or repair a broken roof. Some even called her foolish. Although their words hurt, Adunni refused to become bitter. She believed every good deed planted a seed whose harvest would come in time. One night Adunni dreamed of the old woman standing beside the stream. The woman pointed toward a distant hill covered in golden light and urged her to follow her destiny. When Adunni awoke, the dream felt unusually real. She could not stop thinking about the hill and wondered if it carried a hidden meaning. A traveling merchant arrived in Ajamla seeking workers to help transport goods between villages. Adunni volunteered immediately despite the difficult labor involved. Her honesty and hard work quickly impressed the merchant. Unlike others who cut corners, Adunni completed every task faithfully. After several months, the merchant trusted Adunni with managing small transactions. She carefully recorded every sale and returned every coin accurately. Customers appreciated her integrity, and business flourished wherever she worked. Soon the merchant began relying on her more than anyone else. While cleaning her house one evening, Adunni noticed strange symbols glowing faintly on the old calabash. Curious, she examined it more closely. Inside she discovered a hidden compartment containing an ancient parchment covered with mysterious instructions and maps. The parchment described traditional methods of cultivating medicinal herbs that were highly valuable. Most villagers had forgotten these techniques generations earlier. Adunni carefully studied the information and decided to test the methods on a small piece of land near her home. Within months, rare herbs began growing successfully on her farm. Their quality exceeded anything available in neighboring villages. Traders traveled long distances to purchase the herbs. For the first time in her life, Adunni earned more money than she needed to survive. Rather than spending her earnings recklessly, Adunni reinvested them. She expanded her farmland and hired struggling villagers to help cultivate crops. Her success created jobs for many families who had previously faced hardship. The village slowly began to prosper alongside her. Not everyone celebrated Adunni's achievements. Some villagers became jealous and spread rumors that she had used magic to gain wealth. The accusations saddened her, but she focused on her work and refused to retaliate. Her good character continued to shine through every challenge. One night thieves broke into Adunni's storage building hoping to steal valuable herbs. They escaped with several sacks of produce. Instead of seeking revenge, Adunni prayed for wisdom and strengthened security around her farm. She remained determined not to let fear control her life. A few days later, the thieves were discovered attempting to sell the stolen goods elsewhere. Village elders forced them to return everything. The incident increased respect for Adunni, whose calm response impressed many people. Adunni began trading with distant towns and cities. Her reputation for honesty attracted business partners from many regions. As her network expanded, so did her influence. She became known as one of the most trustworthy traders in the area. Though wealth entered her life, Adunni never forgot her humble beginnings. She established a community fund to assist widows and orphans. The people she helped prayed for her success daily. Her generosity became legendary. Years later, Adunni visited the same stream where she had met the old woman. Memories flooded back as she stood beside the flowing water. She wondered what had happened to the mysterious stranger and whether she would ever see her again. As sunset painted the sky orange, Adunni noticed an elderly figure sitting beneath the same tree where they first met. It was the old woman. The years seemed not to have affected her appearance. She smiled knowingly as Adunni approached. The old woman revealed that she was a guardian spirit sent to test the hearts of people. Many had ignored her suffering, but Adunni had shown genuine compassion. Her kindness had unlocked blessings that could never have been earned through greed or selfishness. The guardian explained that Adunni's journey was far from over. Wealth alone was not her destiny, she was meant to transform countless lives. Inspired by these words, Adunni committed herself to even greater acts of service. Using her growing fortune, Adunni funded the construction of schools across neighboring villages. Children who once lacked opportunities gained access to education. Parents praised her efforts, and entire communities benefited from the new schools. The once poor village of Ajamla became a center of trade and learning. Roads improved, businesses flourished, and families prospered. People often credited Aduni's leadership for the remarkable transformation. Success attracted powerful rivals who wanted control of her business empire. Some attempted bribery, while others spread false accusations. Aduni relied on honesty and transparency, refusing to compromise her values. Village leaders investigated the allegations and found them completely false. Instead, they praised Aduni for her integrity. Her reputation emerged stronger than ever before. Another severe drought threatened the region. Crops withered, and food shortages returned. Unlike years earlier, Aduni now possessed the resources to help. She distributed food and water throughout affected communities. Thousands benefited from her relief efforts. Families who might have starved survived because of her generosity. Her actions reinforced the lesson that true success involves lifting others. A young orphan girl named Beze sought Aduni's guidance. She admired Aduni and dreamed of following her example. Aduni welcomed her warmly and began teaching her business skills and moral values. Beze learned quickly and demonstrated the same kindness that had defined Aduni's life. Together they managed several successful projects. Aduni saw herself in the young girl and felt hopeful about the future. The villagers organized a grand festival honoring Aduni's contributions. Music, dancing, and storytelling filled the air. Aduni accepted the recognition humbly, reminding everyone that kindness had been the true source of her blessings. One jealous rival secretly plotted against Aduni's businesses. He believed destroying her success would elevate his own status. His schemes caused temporary setbacks, but truth eventually exposed his actions. When the rival was caught, many demanded harsh punishment. Surprisingly, Aduni asked for mercy. Her forgiveness shocked everyone and inspired the rival to change his ways. Years passed, and Aduni's enterprises expanded across the kingdom. Her products became highly sought after. Yet she continued living simply and treating everyone with respect. News of Aduni's accomplishments reached the royal palace. The king invited her to advise him on economic development. Her practical wisdom impressed the royal court. Working alongside the king, Aduni helped create programs supporting farmers, traders, and artisans. The kingdom experienced unprecedented growth and stability. Young entrepreneurs from many regions sought Aduni's mentorship. She shared her experiences freely. Her teachings inspired a new generation of ethical leaders. One evening, the guardian spirit appeared once more. She congratulated Aduni for remaining humble despite immense success. The spirit explained that her greatest achievement was not wealth but the lives she had changed. The guardian placed her hand upon Aduni's head and pronounced a final blessing. Peace and joy filled Aduni's heart. When she looked again, the old woman had vanished into the night. Aduni spent many hours reflecting on her journey from poverty to prosperity. She realized every blessing had begun with a simple act of kindness. The memory strengthened her commitment to serving others. Beze eventually became a successful leader herself. She continued Aduni's charitable work and expanded it even further. The values of kindness and generosity spread throughout the region. Aduni established a large learning center dedicated to teaching agriculture, business, and ethics. Students traveled from distant lands to study there. Unlike rulers who inspired fear, Aduni earned genuine love and respect. People trusted her because she consistently placed others before herself. Her name became synonymous with compassion. Although she possessed immense wealth, Aduni considered her greatest success the happiness of the communities she had helped. Seeing others thrive brought her more joy than riches ever could. As she grew older, Aduni often told children the story of the old woman at the stream. She emphasized that every act of kindness matters. Many young listeners carried that lesson into adulthood. When Aduni's story became legend, people remembered how a poor girl had shared her last meal with a helpless stranger. That single decision altered the course of her entire life. Generations later, parents still taught their children that kindness is never wasted. For Edunni proved that a compassionate heart can open doors to blessings greater than anyone could imagine.